People often ask me, what do you do? I said, well, you need to own certain things. You've got to own and celebrate recovery. And AA and NA, we always say the first thing you've got to admit is that you've got a problem. You've got an addiction. You've got a challenge. You've got a hurt. You've got a habit. You've got some kind of hang up. You've got to confess that. And then secondly, that you need a higher power to help you with it. But there are times when you have to take Moses' stance. There's times whenever the battle's going on down below. And if you get in there and you start fighting it, you may stir up more than what you need to stir up. Sometimes you need to stand back like Moses, and it takes a great deal of faith to do this. And you may need an Aaron or a Hur on the other arm to hold it up. But it's when you hold your hands up and out of faith you say, God, you're going to have to fight this. God, you're going to have to give the victory. I love her. I love him. I'll keep praying. I'll do whatever I need to do to own my stuff. But Lord, I surrender her to you. Lord, I give him to you. And I pray, God, you'll have a victory. Don't be surprised if the war's not won. Don't be surprised if God doesn't do the impossible. Amen. But all too often we want to get down there and try to control everything. And sometimes we run people off through our trying to control everything. It's tough. It's tough to put your hands up and say, I love you. But you're going to have to return when you're ready. I love you. And I'm still going to be here. And I'm still going to fight for you. But I'm going to have to fight from Moses' position. And I'm going to have to trust God to do what only God can do. I have prayed sometimes specifically that God would put somebody across their path, that something would happen to them that was so absolutely outrageous that they would have to know it was God. I believe fervently if God can make Balaam's ass speak, he can do all kinds of crazy things. I'll tell you what, if a donkey started talking to me, that would get my attention. I mean, what was it, Mr. Ed? Everybody under 40 has no idea who Mr. Ed is, but he was a talking horse, and he was pretty cool. I don't know how they did that. The horse's mouth would move and it'd talk. Gratitude fuels an active love which fights for restoration. I was talking to someone who attends our Celebrate Recovery, but he was telling me that what literally changed his life was AA and the 12 steps. And that's why he appreciates Celebrate Recovery, but he also appreciates the fact that in Celebrate Recovery, our higher power is named, and that's Jesus Christ. But he was telling me AA had changed his life. And I was asking him, I said, so what happened? And he was talking about how, you know, it's real, it's honest, it's gutsy. And then he says, you know, but we celebrate the chips, and then we celebrate with one another. And he said, it dawned on me when I was getting my 5-year chip. And I said, so you go because it inspires you. You go because it keeps you stoked and keeps you focused. He said, well, yes to all of that. You're exactly right. But there's another reason why I go now. The more you mature in your own recovery, there's another reason why you go. And I said, well, what is that? And he said, because when I was getting my 5-year chip and people were applauding and celebrating, it hit me. The Holy Spirit communicated to me when I was getting my 5-year chip, the person who had only been sober for 2 days was thinking, maybe that's possible for me. Maybe God can do that for me. There's hope for me. People who were on their 1-year chip, they're out to thinking, that guy's made it to 5. Maybe there's hope to me. Maybe something God can do. When we come in a worship service, I don't want you here just to receive. I don't want you here just to get a blessing. I want you to come because your very presence here means God can do something in people's lives. You've seen it in your own life. You've seen him answer prayer. You've seen him bring healing when it didn't seem like healing was possible. You've seen God alive. And when you and I come together and worship like that, we give people hope. We encourage one another. That's what worship is about. And so when people applaud, it's like, yeah, go God. Go God. And he said that just totally gave me a new understanding of why I needed to. And that is, listen, that's the 12th step in the 12 steps. When you have been able to handle a certain amount of sobriety and you've been able to see some freedom and some progression, your role now is to go back and help other people. It's to encourage other people and help them understand. If you work it, it works. If you don't, it won't. It's much like the Christian faith, and that takes us to number 3.